What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, this is Burgandy Bets. We gamble on football and we cash tickets. Now, we did have our first non-profitable week of the season last week, going 4-5-1, which brings our season total to 49-31-1, hitting at about a 63% clip. We got a full week 6 card here to break down, find our spots where we're going to dip, duck, dodge, and cash tickets. Let's break it down. First game up on the slate, tonight's game, Thursday Night Football. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Eagles are 7-point home underdogs. Some of these books do have 6.5s out there if you like the Tampa Bay side of things. Immediately going over this game and handicapping it, I was just thinking about the defensive back injuries for Tampa Bay. Still no Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Antoine Winfield Jr. All these guys will still not be in this game. Philadelphia has their injuries they're battling with themselves, mostly on the defensive line with losing key pieces, not being able to play in this game. Philadelphia has speed on the outside with their wide receivers, their playmakers, their skill position players. That's going to be something that will be interesting to see how Tampa Bay defends that with those key defensive backs out. This could be a shot-for-shot type of game where the over would be in play. The over is sitting at about 52.5 right now, with a majority of the cash and tickets on the over as well. Now, I did see that Tampa Bay is 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 Thursday night games. I don't know what that's all about. Bruce Arians would be the coach for the last 8 games. Is the team not getting up? Is it not getting prepped right? I don't know, but that's certainly something to think about. As for a play for me, with Robert Gronkowski out, and assuming that Philadelphia can score on Tampa Bay, they're not going to be able to run the ball. I was all excited about going Miles Sanders under rushing props, but once again, the books are on it. We saw how low they put Miami Dolphins rushing props last week, and they still went under. And Miles Sanders' rushing props is right around 34.5. And in addition, Nick Sirianni is just not running the football. If Tampa Bay gets out to a lead here, they're not going to be able to run the football. They're going to have to throw it. I believe Jalen Hurts passing attempt props are in play here. But for me, I did take the Antonio Brown over. It was 61.5. I know most books have now moved it up to 62, 63. Antonio Brown has gone over that in 75% of the games. He's 3 or 4 or the over on that mark. So I did take that. And then I was looking at the Quez Watkins props. Like we said, his was right around 40.5. I think over is a good look there. He's a very explosive player. He's shown it so far this year. And if they're going to need to score, Tampa Bay, their secondary is not healthy. Philadelphia has the speed on the outside. I believe Quez Watkins can hit that over mark. Now, for the second consecutive week, we are blessed with Sunday morning football. That's right, 9:30 Eastern kickoff, Miami Dolphins, Jacksonville Jaguars in London. This line opened up Miami minus 3.5 and has since gone down to Miami minus 3 on some books if you like the Fins. 57% of the tickets on Jacksonville, while 67% of the cash on the Dolphins. Both of these teams dealing with many injuries. We don't know if Tua is going to make the flight. I don't think it's going to change the line whether it's Tua Tagovailoa or Jacoby Brissett in there. As far as Jacksonville, Christmas come early for Urban Meyer with all the John Gruden resignation news from the email scandal. I believe John Gruden is probably only the first domino to fall here, but we're not here for that. This is a pick show. Let's get into the picks. I will be looking at the Dan Arnold receiving props, tight end Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of these props will come out today after noonish on DraftKings and BetMGM. There's some of the 2 books that give us those early lines on props. If you have those available to you, check them out. Dan Arnold led the team in receptions and targets last week. They are peppering the tight ends. DJ Chark went down. We know James O'Shaughnessy's out on IR. I like Dan Arnold props. I think we could get a soft number from the books. If this is Dan Arnold 3.5, we're going to hit that over. If it's 4.5, we're still going to look at it. I like that bet. Dan Arnold receiving props over. Next up, AFC South Showdown. Houston Texans travel to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Colts are laying 10 points at home. A lot of tickets and cash on the Houston Texans. I don't get it. Anyone who watched that game against New England last week knows that old Davis Mills there got lucky and bailed out. I believe 2 out of the 3 of those touchdown passes he threw, and probably half of his yards came on terrible passes into double coverage where his receiver just made a great play and bailed him out. I do not have a play on this game. I'm still going to look to fade the Texans going forward. Once Tyrod Taylor returns, that is a point when we would start to back them again. However, on the Colts side of things, heartbreaker in Baltimore. They come up, lose in overtime. Lamar Jackson just turned into beast mode in the fourth quarter, took the game into his own hands. Heartbreaker for Indy. I have no lean on this game. I'm staying far away from this game. I know a lot of the tickets and bets are on the Texans and the points. The over is pretty low, opened up 43.5, and a majority of the cash on the over there as well. No bets for me. Now, if you got 2 seconds of your time, go down there, hit that like button, sub to the channel. We're going over football here. We're making bets. We're cashing tickets. It's a beautiful thing. Moving on. NFC North Showdown. Green Bay Packers travel to Soldier Field to play the Bears. This line opened up with Bears getting 4.5 at home and has since gone down to Bears +4 on many books. 67% of the tickets and 73% of the cash on Green Bay. Now, we did just see Davante Adams ball out last week. Such a playmaker, such a stud. Chicago is certainly going to have to double team this guy. Marquez Valdez-Scantling still out, not going to be in this game. We are going to be looking at the Randall Cobb over yards game props in this game. If Davante Adams didn't go off for 200 yards last week, it would have hit, but he did, so it didn't. I think we might be able to get a little bit of a softer number there, maybe, low 30s, 31, 32, something like that for Randall Cobb, which would be in play for us. As far as Chicago goes, we did see Khalil Herbert out-snap Damien Williams. He was involved in the passing game, 3 targets. Great game for the kid. We're going to be looking at his props too. Do we get a soft number? Damien Williams is questionable. Many of these Chicago receivers are questionable. We're sure they're going to play. Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson, both questionable for this game. Like we said, should start. Khalil Mack, same in there as well. We're getting to the point of the season where these guys are going to be banged up and they're just going to have to play through it. Divisional game here. If Chicago wins this game, they will have first place in the NFC North. As far as a pick for this, I don't have anything official yet. I'm leaning Green Bay. And as we see where the total share on the tickets, 51% of the tickets on the over, while 75% of the cash on the under. If you guys watch this channel, you know we like to fade the public and we like to follow the money when there's a huge gap in this. 51% of the tickets to 75% of the cash, that is a big gap. Under is in play here. We'll see where it ends up on Sunday. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Now, before we get into the breakdown of this game, we do need to shout out Daniel Lavin. Go ahead, throw him a follow on Twitter at Dan_LAVAN. He's got some sharp takes here. Saw the Chargers were catching 3.5 in this game right after their game with Cleveland. That's great handicapping, and the market agrees, moving this spread a full point in the Chargers' favor. It's only Thursday. This could get closer come kickoff. I do have an official pick here. I will be tailing that plus 3.5, and I will have a half unit on the money line. I'm doing that on the money line just because this Chargers team is all gas, no brakes. They're going for it on 4th down a lot in games on their own side of the field. They do not want to punt. They're pushing. They're being aggressive. I like it, and I like the money line play as well. As far as Baltimore goes, we just saw it again on Monday night. This team will go as far as Lamar Jackson carries them. I love Lamar. Great player. Baltimore is still dealing with a ton of injuries. The Chargers are a healthy bunch here. Not too much from their side. They only have 4 players on their injury report. That's great news. Give me the Chargers plus a 3.5 on the road, and I am already on the money line as well. Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Washington to play the football team. This line opened up Kansas City minus 6.5, which is extremely interesting to me. This is a line that you would see Kansas City opening up minus 7.5. Now, it's only a point. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going through a key number, and that's an opening line. This line opened up at 6.5. People are losing faith in the Chiefs. They're terrible against the spread, and the books are reacting to it. That being said, 74% of the tickets and 71% of the cash on the Chiefs. The public loves backing the Chiefs. Now, you could see those number changes. It is only Thursday. Come kickoff, I'm sure there's going to be a wider margin there. The Chiefs, they can put up points. We all know that. The defense is terrible. Both of these defenses are 31st and 32nd in the league in points allowed. The Washington football team that was supposed to be so elite just hasn't shown it. Now, they are getting better. In the last 3 weeks of the season, the Washington football team has ranked number 1 in QB pressure. It's very interesting and a good sign going forward. Now, with those terrible defensive statistics being first and second last in the league in points allowed, you got to think the over's in play here, and it is one of the highest on the week at 55.5. Most of the tickets and most of the cash on the over in this game. I don't have a lean either side. I'm sure as hell not backing the Chiefs. I'm not laying points with the Chiefs. What I will be looking at and what will be an official play once the line drops will be the Ricky Seals-Jones props for the Washington football team. He is their tight end. With Logan Thomas coming out, he stepped right in. led the teams in targets, had a great share, just very productive, and I believe we're going to get some soft numbers here from the books. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs have allowed over 50 yards to every tight end they played this year, and I think Ricky Seals-Jones is going to get the looks from Taylor Heineke, and that will be an official play. Ricky Seals-Jones over receiving props, as long as it's somewhere in the 40s, which it will be. It's not going to be higher than that. That will be an official play. Once again, official plays are in the description of the video below. Moving forward, we have an extremely interesting game. The Minnesota Vikings travel to Carolina to play the Panthers. Now, we probably will see Christian McCaffrey back in this game, which is a huge plus for the Carolina Panthers. Just a completely different offense without them. I believe someone like Christian McCaffrey is worth points on a spread. I mean, he's a difference between your team getting into the end zone or kicking a field goal. He's a very good player, one of the best in the league, I believe. Now, what is interesting in this game is Carolina opened -1. Carolina opened up a favorite. Red flags here. Majority of the tickets and majority of cash on Carolina. However, the line has flipped to Carolina being an underdog. That is reverse line movement, and that is very, very scary. I was all over Carolina in this game. I didn't care about the spread. I was going to take the money line as long as it was under a field goal, and I was getting plus money. However, now after seeing that most of the bets are on Carolina, however, they have flipped from being a favorite to an underdog, that's not good. That's going to be enough to keep me off this game. I really wanted to back Carolina, but I can't do it with reverse line movement like that. As far as the total goes in this game, opened up 45.5. Most of the money coming in on the under. Carolina, through the first 5 weeks of the season, has the #1 QB pressure rate. We know what it looks like when Kirk Cousins is under pressure. The team doesn't perform. Adam Thielen has been lackluster in the last 2 weeks after starting out with those huge first 3 weeks. He hasn't eclipsed 50 yards in the last 2 weeks. So many things point to Carolina here, but that reverse line movement is ridiculous. I don't understand it. I can't back it. I can't get behind it. Moving on. Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Motown to play the Detroit Lions. Line opened up. Lions catching 3.5 at home has now gone down to Lions +3 on some books. However, that 3.5 is out there if you still like Detroit. 66% of the tickets on the Bengals, while 54% of the cash on the Lions. I gotta tell you guys, I feel so bad for Motor City Dan Campbell and the rest of the Lions. I mean, these motherfuckers can't buy a win. It's ridiculous. The heartbreak week after week. First, they have the Justin Tucker 66 league best ever field goal go in at home. Then they're beating the Minnesota Vikings with a minute left on the road. The Vikings go down and kick a long field goal. The heartbreak in Detroit is ridiculous. You know, it's the Calvin Johnson curse. The Barry Sanders curse. You know, pay these fucking players their money and maybe this curse will go away. Anyway, moving forward onto gambling, we have a total of 47.5. with 52% of the tickets on the over, 62% of the cash on the under. I would lean the under on this game. I do not have any official plays. We're not going to spend too much more time on it, but you got to hope Detroit gets a win here soon. All right, next up, I do have an official play in this game. Once again, official plays in the description of the video below. I add them throughout the week, especially props. So if you were looking to tail me, like I said, we're having a great year. What are we, 49, 31, and 1 on the year. That's hitting at 63%. Check on Sunday if you're looking for any props. I did throw, I think, 3 extra props in last week, 7 the week before, so I'm always updating the description of the picks when I make them. Official play here will be the Los Angeles Rams. I got -9.5. There was -9.5 for about an hour today on DraftKings, but I did grab it on BetMGM. Listen, I think the 10s here, the -10 here is fine as well. I would still endorse that play. The Giants are dealing with so many injuries. I mean, we all know it. Saquon Barkley went out. Daniel Jones got hit, did the stanky leg back to the huddle before they took him out for concussion. Their wide receivers are ravaged with injuries. Even Kadarius Toney's working through some stuff right now. And on the other hand, the Rams are just an elite football team. Going on the road here, I do not believe is an issue at all. I like the Rams here. I think this is one-way traffic. I mean, look at this injury report. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 7 guys on the Rams, and look at this list for the Giants. I mean, give me the Rams here. I wouldn't mind a double-up spot, but I did see the Rams first half was -6.5. You're going to give me a full game at -9.5. I'm not going to pay a -6.5 for the first half. Although I do think it's a good bet. I do think it cashes. Official play for me here, Los Angeles Rams against the spread. Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Denver to play the Broncos. This line opened up. Raiders catching 3.5 on the road and has since gone up to 4 on some books. Majority of the tickets and cash on the Denver Broncos. Now, we all know John Gruden's no longer with the team. They did promote inside with the interim coach. What's interesting here is they did not go with the defense coordinator or offensive coordinator. They went with the special teams coordinator. Why is that important? Well, the defensive coordinator usually just works with the defense, and offensive coordinator only works with the offense generally. Your special teams coordinator works with everyone. He has to know the guys that are fighting for those roster spots, playing gunner on special teams, and then he's going to know the starters as well. So it's very interesting that they went that route, and I think it's the right way to go. He knows the bottom half of the roster, and he knows the top half of the roster. This is a divisional game. All the bullshit set aside, this should be a very close game. I am leaning Raiders and the points here. No official play yet, but if this keeps climbing and climbing, I will be on the Raiders. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals catching 3 points on the road against the Cleveland Browns. Now, I do have an official play here. I did take the Cardinals plus the 3 points. I think these are two very good football teams. And in a close game with field goal points, I'm going to take the Cardinals and the points. Now, very interesting here with the Cleveland Browns. Nearly their entire starting secondary is questionable for this game, and that does not bode well against Kyler Murray and the playmakers he has on the offense side of the ball. Not the best news for Arizona would be the Chandler Jones. I do not think he's going to play in this game. Now, he did have that huge 5-sack week 1. Hasn't really had much after that, but he's still a great football player and will be a loss on the defensive line if he cannot go. Official play, Cardinals plus 3. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys traveling to New England to play the Patriots. Believe it or not, a few books did open this up, Dallas minus 2.5, with the majority opened up Dallas minus 3.5. 73% of the tickets and 77% of the cash on the Cowboys. Now, right when I saw this, I immediately thought this would be the trap game of the week. Dallas coming off those huge wins, New England at home, catching points at home. But then the deeper I dug into it, it just makes sense to take Dallas here. A lot of people like to say Bill Belichick likes to take away your best weapon. Well, good luck with this Dallas team. I mean, they have 2 elite running backs in Pollard and Zeke, 3 excellent wide receivers, they're tight ends, and good lord, if Michael Gallup comes back for this game, good luck. This offense has been humming. The defense has been playing great. They're top 5 in many statistical categories on both sides of the ball. I do want to check the weather before I play this game. I want to make sure it's not going to be raining or pouring in New England. If it's not, I will be on the Dallas side of things. Sunday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks travel to Heinz Field to play the Steelers. Steelers are laying 5.5 points at home with a total of 42. This will be the first time in Russell Wilson's career where he does not start for the Seattle Seahawks. He will be out 6 to 8 weeks with that finger surgery, so it will be Geno Smith leading the charge. Now, Geno Smith came into their last game and looked great. He had those 2 touchdown drives. I believe it was Tyler Lockett that fell down on their final drive, fell down in his route, led to the interception. It's going to be interesting to see how Geno plays here with a full week of preparation going against a very good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Now, the defense is still banged up in a couple areas, but Seattle's defense has not been great. I do not have a lean in this game. I wanted to take Pittsburgh, but I'm not laying 5.5 points with this team. They could win by a field goal, 2 points, something like that, and your bet would not win. And I'm not going to bet on Geno Smith either right now. The only way I can see of attacking this game will be with the player props. We're going to be going with the Najee Harris combined rushing and receiving props, whatever that is. I'm sure it's going to be somewhere around 90. And then the Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool props with Juju Smith-Schuster out. James Washington is questionable. I believe those 2 guys will get the most looks from Ben Roethlisberger, and probably whoever has the lower receiving total we're going to go with in a Deontay Johnson or a Chase Claypool. And like I said, we will be on the Najee Harris rushing receiving total over props. Monday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills travel to Tennessee to play the Titans. This line opened up Buffalo minus 4 on the road and has since been gone up to Buffalo minus 5.5 and 6 on some books. Over under of 54 points here, 64% of the tickets on Buffalo, while 58% of the cash on the Titans. Now, I do have an official play here. I did not want to take this game. I thought this would be a classic letdown spot for Buffalo after that huge road win against Kansas City, beating the Bullies. But then I dove into it, and I'm just not stepping in front of Buffalo. This team's a wagon. I'm taking Buffalo first half, minus 3.5, and Buffalo full game, minus 5.5. Buffalo has the highest win differential in the National Football League, which means they're winning by the most amount of points and covering spreads. The defense is humming. The offense is humming. Like I said, I do believe this team is a wagon, and I'm not going to step in front of it until shown otherwise. Official plays, Buffalo, first half, minus 3.5, full game, minus 5.5. That was the full Week 6 breakdown. Once again, official plays will be in the description of the video below. Go ahead, tell me if you want. We are having a great year. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's all get paid this week.